welcome to another live stream with Piotis Naturals and me, your host, Dr. Evanthia Samota, where it's another episode about natural beauty. Today, we will be discussing this very important topic about sunscreens and what ingredients you need to be avoiding in your sunscreens because they are harmful for our health as well as the environment. I want to thank everybody who's joining live as well as anybody who's watching the replay. I want to pause for a second to see if I can go live as well on Instagram. Last time we had some issues about going live on Instagram, but I hope this time is going to be okay. It seems that we're doing all right. And feel free, any of you who are watching us, on our social media, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, to leave any comments, and I will see them as we go along. So I want to introduce myself real quickly. I'm Dr. Evanthia. I'm a biologist, and I am the founder of Piotis Naturals and the cosmetics formulators for the products that we handcraft here, which are completely natural, clean, non-toxic, vegan and cruelty-free. And our motto is to make sure that all our ingredients are completely clean, completely non-toxic, and they're safe for us and the environment. So our today's topic is beware sunscreen industry secrets. And we're going to go through some important sunscreen ingredients that you need to be looking out in your sunscreens to ensure that you avoid them because they have been found to be linked with various hazards, both for our health as well as the environment. So I'm going to see again if we have, right. So you guys, I would love you to leave me any comments that you can hear me all right. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me all right. Please comment. I can see as well on Instagram. I'm not quite sure if you guys can hear me. So I'd really appreciate it if you can leave a comment to say that we can hear you and see you all right. So I wanted to share with you a personal story that changed everything, that changed my outlook about health, about the ingredients in our cosmetics. And it's about my grandmother. You can see her here, this beautiful blonde hair lady with blue eyes. When I was about 17 and I was studying really hard for my A-levels to get into medical school, she developed melanoma, which is an aggressive form of skin cancer. Unfortunately, it metastasized to her bones and her brain. And finally, she passed away from this horrible disease. And it really signified me because this beautiful woman who was full of life, she was a talented woman, positive, and was always wary of the sun. She was careful. She was using some conventional sunscreens, but still, sadly, she developed melanoma and passed away from it. So to me, that was the beginning of trying to understand what is it in our cosmetics, whether they are good for us, whether they're harmful. And I really dwelled deeply into the matter of understanding what we use on our skin, whether it's completely safe or whether there's still some concerns for their safety. And that got me into getting more reading into more of these topics, research papers, and as well my own personal aversion to synthetic fragrance. I am very sensitive to synthetic fragrance, and that again also led me into reading what is it exactly that it's in our cosmetic ingredients, what is it that a lot of cosmetic companies are hiding from us by either using an umbrella term like fragrance, where they just mask what the real ingredients are in them. So that personal story for me, losing my grandma to metastatic melanoma, really signified me, and it really guides my mission into creating truly clean cosmetics. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I knew that I used any skincare ingredients or hair care ingredients in my formulations that were dubious, that were not completely deemed completely safe. And so I am really careful in ensuring all of the ingredients that we use in our formulations are completely clean and non-toxic. And that's why our tagline is clean beauty done right. Thank you for those of you who left our comments to tell us that you can hear me all well. It really means a lot to me. And thank you again for joining. And any of you who are joining on the live stream replay, please comment replay so I can thank you as well for watching. We are broadcasting live on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, which I'm really happy because it's the first time we managed to go live on Instagram with our setup like this. So we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And any of you who don't follow us in the other socials, please do follow us because I share different content in the different channels, and I'm sure you will benefit and learn more from the natural beauty tips and related content that we share there. So, like I said, today is a very important topic, discussing about the ingredients in our sunscreens and whether they're safe for us, whether they're healthy for us or not. So, I wasn't sure how deep I wanted to go into this live stream in terms of the details of the science behind the ingredients. There's obviously the research papers that I've read, and I'm backing up all of my claims. But I've been told that in previous live streams, I sort of go too much into detail and I become too scientific. Of course, because of my background I've got a PhD in biological sciences, and before I used to study medicine. Before I quit because of my love for natural things. That's another story. We'll touch on that another time. But I wasn't sure how deeply I was going to touch into the various topics, the research. So I thought to not go too deep in them because sometimes people can find that a bit overwhelming if I'm using too much scientific jargon. So I do promise, though, to create a dedicated blog and cite all of the scientific research that I'm using here to back up the claims that I'll be discussing in this video, so that you can refer to them and read in more detail in the blog post, as well as be able to download it if you need to have it for your own records, and also have links to the direct research papers to read them at your own time and understand the research and the conclusions that I'm presenting here. Because I really didn't want to make it too scientific, and then most people will find it overwhelming potentially, and then just log off and not listen to the important topics that we are discussing today. So it is not a very common knowledge that the FDA done a study back in 2021 and requested to evaluate the safety of 16 sunscreen ingredients to deem them if they were safe or not. And only 2 of those 16 ingredients were deemed as safe, and the other ones were deemed as needing to provide more safety data. And that's since 2021. And since then, we haven't got the adequate safety data to back up whether those ingredients are completely clean and completely safe to use. However, they are used widely with a lot of sunscreens that we're going to discuss later on, and I'll give you examples as well that you can look for them in your ingredients labels. And unfortunately, like I said, they are available widely in a lot of the sunscreens. So the only safe and effective ingredients that have been deemed by the FDA as safe and effective UV filters are zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. So we have to also distinguish whether the size of the particles is is appropriate as well. We will explain later on as well about what is the difference of nanosite and non-nanosite, but I'm just going to state here how zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are the ones that are deemed as safe and effective by the FDA. There's no concerns for any toxicity whatsoever, and therefore they're also safe to be used even for pregnant women or even for newborn babies. Whereas everything else, they are deemed of unknown safety. So 12 ingredients lack sufficient data, and two of those ingredients in that study were deemed as completely unsafe. Despite the fact that we have seen some concerns in animal studies, some in vivo, so in real life in humans, as well as in cells, and there's not, and those have been shown to be concerning. These sunscreens are still in circulation, and that's why I'm making this live stream today, in order to raise awareness about the matter and help you read your ingredients labels and understand whether the ingredients in your sunscreens are safe for you, and they have no health concerns, both for your health, of course, as well as the environment. Okay. So these chemical UV filters, they're organic molecules, not like what we say organic. This product is organic, so a bio, so it's a good one. But the molecular structure is organic, and they are not deemed as GRACE. GRACE is the acronym that FDA deemed as generally recognized as safe and effective. So there's insufficient data, and we need more safety studies to back up whether those are actually deemed as safe and effective. And as a matter of fact, the European Union as well evaluated again the allowed percentages for those ingredients within the formulation. So they lowered the threshold. So they are forbidding companies from using as much as they were using before because of these health and environmental concerns. I don't know if you had the chance to screen shot the photo of the previous list that we had with the 12 harmful ingredients. However, I am going to focus on just a few of them. And like I said, I will prepare a dedicated blog post with more details and scientific research papers attached and referenced for you to read them at your own time and reference them. Because again, I didn't want to be too detailed, too complicated, too academic in our live stream, because I just want to give you bite-sized knowledge, bite-sized information that you can take today and implement it straight away. Look at the back of your sunblocks, read the ingredients, see if you see any of those 12 ones that we have in the list, and I will mention a few of them later on. But this way you can just have this practical information and go ahead and be sure whether and know whether your sunscreen is good for you or not. For example, oxybenzone, which is a very common chemical UV filter, has very strong endocrine disruptor abilities, estrogenic, so it mimics our hormones, and it also has anti-androgenic, so anti-male hormones, so testosterone, testosterone, and women also have testosterone in our bodies, and that can affect women as well, pregnant women, children, teenagers, and it's also has been shown to affect the thyroid gland. So going back to oxybenzone, which is a common chemical UV filter found in a lot of chemical sunscreens, as well as a lot of sunscreens that claim to be mineral or natural. Sadly, they still put it in, and we're going to talk about later some examples of products that they are included in, even though they claim that they are natural. So we talked about that even after one application, the product, the oxybenzone, gets absorbed through the skin because it has a small molecular structure, and it has been found to be in the blood, the breast milk, the amniotic fluid, and in urine. So, for all of us ladies who are mothers or planning to be mothers or grandparents, really having such synthetic chemical filters in our bodies, in the breast milk, in the amniotic fluid, when we don't know for sure whether they are completely safe or not. And actually, the current safety data that we have is dubious and concerning. Then I would definitely urge you to avoid this ingredient because it has been shown to have adverse health concerns and adverse health impacts. So, what I always say, and this is my motto, if there is a completely safe, effective, and natural, truly natural solution, why risk it and choose something that has dubious safety and we are unsure whether it's affecting us, our health in the long run, or immediately to be something unhealthy for us as well as the environment. So oxybenzone as well is shown to have marine environmental concerns. It damages coral reefs by bleaching the coral reefs and causing deformities, and it changes the fish's reproductive system. So it's been shown to affect them, the reproductive system of, I think they've done studies in zebrafish, and it also disrupts in this way marine food chains. So it has a wider negative implication for not only our health as well as the environment. And this is just one of those 12 ingredients that they've been found to have endocrine disruptor abilities. So it's something that I do urge you to avoid. Obviously, a lot of people will say, "Oh, but it's the dose that makes the poison." So what I have to say about that, and let me just make myself bigger in the screen so you can focus, because this is a very, very important message. When I share posts like this online, there's a lot of people who are supporters of chemical, anything synthetic chemical. Well, everything is chemical. Water is chemical. I'm not saying to use the claim of chemical free. That's just a misinformation, because everything is a chemical. But when I share posts online, there are sometimes people who will say it is the dose that makes the poison. But with these kind of ingredients that they've been shown to have endocrine disruption, hormone disruption, cause allergies, reproductive system disruption. Some of them they have ability to maybe be carcinogenic, and we are affected by them by many, many sources on our daily basis. So it's not just the sun lotion that you'll be putting on your skin throughout the day, reapplying several times a day. It's maybe your body lotion, it's your shampoo, it's your perfume, your cologne that you're putting, is your aftershave. It's a lot of personal care ingredients that contain this kind of harsh synthetic chemicals that they have some health safety concerns, and they bioaccumulate. They get absorbed into our bloodstream. We've seen that they are shown to be found in breast milk, in the amniotic fluid, and they affect our detox systems, the liver, and they can cross the blood-brain barrier. So they're small enough to cross through the barrier that separates the blood-brain barrier, and it's called, so it's what there's a membrane where is a brain that is there to protect any toxic ingredients going into our brain, to protect it. But unfortunately, these ingredients, these molecules are too small, and they are able to penetrate, and they've been found in brain matter, in the brain, and they have neurotoxicity effects. So they affect our neural system, our nervous system. They can be linked to neurodegenerative diseases. So these are substances that we get exposed to from various sources, even from our general environment. Our environment is a lot more polluted than what it used to be. We're a lot more distant from nature. We're spending a lot more time indoors, so we don't get to go outside much, where we get to sort of connect with nature. There's this thing called earthing, otherwise known grounding, where the positive ions that we accumulate through our interaction with sort of electronic devices, the lights, the phone, the so-called EMF, it cannot leave our body as it could have if we were connected with nature. So walking barefoot, spending time outdoors. So in this case, what I'm trying to say is that we are being exposed to a lot of toxins, environmental toxins in our environment from various sources. So by using cosmetic ingredients that they also have these dubious safety, they have an unknown safety, and rather what the preliminary studies have shown that they have safety concerns, then we're not helping our bodies, we're not helping our detox system to be able to address all of these ingredients that we are being bombarded by on a daily basis, that they're affecting not only our skin on a superficial level, but also our bodies, our endocrine system, as we said, our neurological system, our lungs. We're going to touch upon aerosol sunscreens as well, and other ingredients. So it's what is my motto that I've said many times during this live stream, is that if there is a truly natural, truly clean, truly non-toxic solution, then why not go with that? You have your mind at ease, you don't worry, and instead of exposing yourself to ingredients that they could be potentially toxic to you. And I say, just because science has not proven by definite an absolute definitive manner that these ingredients are toxic and they should be completely avoided, just because the science has not proved it yet completely without any drop of doubt, that doesn't mean they don't have harmful effects. So I don't want to wait until science catches up, because you have to also understand that if certain ingredients have shown toxicity on animals or on a cellular level, then it's unethical to then proceed to test those ingredients on humans as well. And this is what these people who are proponents of, everything is amazing. If, synthetic chemicals, there's no issue with them. It's about the dose of them, and the dose that they found in these ingredients, in these products, is not high enough to cause issues. And the science that we have so far is on animals and it's on cell lines, and some of them that we've seen in humans is not yet conclusive completely. Yeah, but what they don't understand is that it's unethical to then test these ingredients that they've shown on animals to have health hazards, to then try and test them in humans. It's unethical, and it's very difficult to form such kind of studies. I mean, the best kind of studies would be the ones that they're longitudinal. And I'll give you an example that it's not related to the sunscreens, but there's a 20-year study, Norwegian study, that's come out recently, talking about how a lot of the ingredients in cleaning products, in conventional cleaning products, are toxic and affect the lungs negatively, leading even to lung cancer. So these are stuff that they're coming up as we go. So what I am saying is, since we have some preliminary data and several studies, actually, which again I'm going to share in our upcoming blog post, that show that these ingredients are not deemed yet as safe, and as a matter of fact have been shown to have neurotoxicity, endocrine disruption, allergies, sensitivities, some of them which are not on those 12 ones, but there's other ones that actually can increase your photosensitivity, which is what a sunscreen should be doing, the opposite, to protect you from the sun. So since they've shown that they have these harmful health effects, then why choose to use them? So the only reason would be because you wouldn't know that they're harmful. The second reason would be because a lot of the brands out there are using a lot of marketing to deceive you that they're actually natural and green and clean and effective, when in reality they're not. And the third reason is that you don't really care, and that's up to you, of course. But this live stream is for the people who are like me, people who care, people who worry about what they put on their skin. They worry about whether it's good for us, whether it's truly safe, whether it's not going to cause any issues down the line. And they do care about using truly, truly clean ingredients that not only they're good for our health, safe for our health, but also the environment. So that was my little sort of um, let's say thesis for this live stream. This is my main motto for this, my main topic about this live stream, that a lot of people try to brush off these safety data concerns, that it's not much. It's small amounts. You get exposed to, for example, benzene, a contaminant found in a lot of aerosol products. You get exposed to it by being in a city, for a polluted city, for half a day. Yes, but you are exposed to it in your environment. Then why would you deliberately be doing that as well on a daily basis throughout your life? And imagine women are putting sunscreen while they're pregnant, so it's affecting their fetus. And then they're putting sunscreens to their newborns. And then throughout your life, over the several years that you're using it, decades, then those things accumulate and they do end up having a health effect and a health risk. So I always say choose the ones that they're truly clean, truly effective. And as we said, the only FDA approved as safe and effective UV filters are zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. So where did we left off, guys? If you have any questions in the meantime, if you wanna, if you want to add anything, if you want to comment, please do get in. Let me know, and let me know if you can also see me all right as well. I have a comment there from Tracy. We can still hear you. The most important. Or can you not see me? Let's have a little look. Okay, this live stream has been a train wreck. Okay. Okay, yes. Okay, I think it's all good. Okay, so chemical sunscreens, just what we touched upon, the chemical sunscreens that have ingredients that are absorbed into the bloodstream within minutes and within hours of application. Even after one application, oxybenzone has been shown to be absorbed 50 times more over the FDA safety limit, avobenzone 9 times over the safety limit, and octinoxate 16 over the safety limit. And again, like I said, I will create a blog explaining these or all in more detail, as well as citing the research papers that I'm referring to. And then just quickly here, oxybenzone. So it stays in the blood after 3 weeks and even more. And now aerosols. Aerosols spray sunscreens. I understand it's a very convenient way to reapply sunscreen, especially for anybody who's wearing makeup. They just want to spray their sunscreen like that to top up their UV protection. However, it's a big no, because these compounds that they're in the spray sunscreens, they get inhaled by our lungs, and our lungs are not designed to be able to break down those chemicals that there are in the aerosol spray sunscreens. So by breathing them in, you're bypassing the liver detoxification system, and the lungs then can be affected in various ways. It can show those ingredients have been shown to have lung negative effects, even if it is titanium and zinc oxide molecules in there. For example, even non-nano zinc oxide. We will explain later what we mean by non-nano and nano-sized, but in an aerosol form, in a form where you breathe those ingredients, the non-nano zinc oxide and the non-nano titanium dioxide, they are harmful for our health. They can irritate the lungs, and along with the other chemicals that they are found in this kind of aerosol spray sunscreens, they'll have things like, I don't know, byproducts of butane or something, or propane, so that they can propel those ingredients within the aerosol. And again, those are harmful to the lungs. And as well as there have been studies that shown and studied up to, I think there were 300 aerosol sunscreens, and they've been found to be contaminated by benzene. Benzene is a known carcinogen, and obviously that is not something you want to be exposing yourself to. And as of course, in a practical manner, in terms of your SPS protection, when you're spraying the aerosol, you don't get an even coverage, and you don't really get much of it. Imagine if you're trying to spray the aerosol out and about outdoors, it's going to be blown away by the wind. It's not going to reach your skin. It's not going to be evenly distributed, and that's not going to really offer you the SPF that you think you are offering to yourself. So definitely no for aerosol spray sunscreens. Okay, so now I want to touch upon what do we mean about nano-sized and non-nano-sized mineral sunscreens. So in terms of putting things into perspective, a human hair is 80,000 nanometers. Okay, so non-nano, so you can see what we mean by nanometer. So it's really tiny, 80,000 times smaller than the human hair. So a non-nano zinc oxide, it's ranging, the size of it is 200 to 400 nanometers, and it stays on the surface of our skin. Whereas a nano-sized zinc oxide, the size of it is less than 100 nanometers, and it can penetrate through the skin. And again, this is not something that we want, because this way, whilst it penetrates through the skin, it means it can go into our bloodstream as well and cause neurotoxicity. It can cross the blood-brain barrier, and this way it can cause neurotoxicity. And we know that nanoparticles penetrate through the skin because a lot of pharmaceutical companies as well, they use nanotechnology and topical ointments and topical skincare to deliver drugs. So if there was any sort of doubt about that, we really do know that the nanoparticles can penetrate through the skin and enter our bloodstream, and then can be harmful for our health. So over here in this slide as well, we show how the way that the nanoparticles, the nano zinc oxide and the nano titanium dioxide are not offering true mineral protection. So what they do, they scatter 5% of the UV rays, and 95% of the UV rays, they absorb them. So they actually do work like chemical sunscreens, where we didn't mention it earlier, but maybe this is a good time to mention it. The chemical sunscreens, the way they work, they get absorbed through the skin, and they absorb the UV rays and release them into heat in the skin. And in this case, the non-nanoside mineral pigments, so zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, also absorb 95% of the UV rays, and they therefore show dark on UV cameras. Whereas nanoparticles, which is the true mineral protection, what they do, they reflect and they scatter the UV rays, and this is what we actually call as true physical barrier protection. And this way, when you do use a true non-nanosized zinc oxide or non-nanosized titanium dioxide sunscreen, it doesn't show dark on UV cameras. So I hope this explains what we mean by non-nano and nano-sized mineral zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. Allow me to have something to drink. And again, guys, I do apologize for the previous issues that we had with our technical matters. I have learned through that experience, and I will make sure that this doesn't happen again. This is only our third time we're using this software, and it's actually our first time that we managed to go live on Instagram as well. And I do hope that we are still live on Instagram. Do let me know, guys. And to let me know as well if we are also still live on the other software, on the other apps. Please feel free to leave any to leave your comments if you have any questions. That will help us. So I think our Instagram has dropped out, I think, because it doesn't look like, well, it does say I'm live, but on my end when I'm checking it, it doesn't show us if I'm live. So can you guys let me know, those of you who are watching us on, okay, it does show that we're live. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay, that's great. And it shows our slides as well, which is great to know. Okay, I'm drinking my kombucha here. This is not one that I made, but normally I do make kombucha. It's really helpful probiotic drink. This is store bought. Sometimes I get tired of drinking just water, and I do drink distilled water. If you don't know what it is the pure form of water that we would normally get from the rain if it wasn't like acid rain and polluted. So it's the purest form of H2O. And if you do make sure you include enough minerals and vitamins in your diet, distilled water is a very good and clean way to get hydration into your body. Okay, going back to our sunscreen information. So, what is SPF 30? To explain what is SPF is sun protection factor. So, explaining what the different numbers are, for example, for SPF 30, if your skin would normally start to burn after 10 minutes in the sun with no protection, then with SPF 30, it would take 30 times longer to burn. So let's say 10 minutes times 30, that's 300 minutes or 5 hours in an ideal condition. However, in real life, we don't have lab conditions, and instead in real life we sweat, we touch our skin, we're talking, we're eating, the sunscreen gets rubbed off when we swim. Yeah. Okay, so going back, in real life, this is in a lab, and we sweat and we touch our face and we swim, and the UV rays vary throughout the day from location to location, and that's why it's important to reapply every 2 hours your sunscreen, even if it's SPF 30 or even if it's SPF 50. And in this case now, we are comparing here SPF 30 versus SPF 50. So we have a lot of people coming to us and ask us if our sunscreens are SPF 30 or SPF 50. The difference between SPF 30 is that it blocks around 97% of the UVB rays, whereas the SPF 50 blocks 98% of UV rays. So in essence, there isn't much difference. So a lot of the times SPF 50 was used by companies to sort of mark up the price to make the products more expensive because they're saying they're SPF 50. However, more and more information is coming out to let us know that because in real life people are under applying, higher SPF lasts longer before reapplying. My preference is SPF 30. Even though our sunscreens that we're going to talk about in a little bit do have higher than SPF 30, and there is no holy grail way of sort of testing the SPF. This is done like very subjectively, where they have volunteers, they put the sunscreens on them, they shine strong UV lamps on them, and they see how quickly they burn or not. And a lot of the times it is subjective because it's up to humans to know whether this has burned at that time or not. And also it might matter how light was shining, how white the room is or not. So in this case, in my personal preference, I go with around SPF 30, as well as because using non-nano zinc oxide, it can leave white cast because it's a white powder. Zinc oxide is a white powder. It sits on your skin. It reflects the UV rays. And when we need to use some particles, some pigments to sort of adjust the color, if we do end up using a lot more zinc oxide to achieve the higher SPF, then it'll be harder to accustom for people with more darker skin tone. So you have to also consider what is your natural skin color. So for somebody who's very fair skinned and burns very quickly in the sun, let's say if they're going to go somewhere that is very, very hot, yes, choose SPF 50. And of course, always, as we have discussed throughout this live stream, choose truly mineral sunscreen with no nano zinc oxide and no nano titanium dioxide. And this way, you know that you will be protected with the SPF 50. But if you're diligent and you reapply your sunscreen, the SPF 30, then you'll also be good. And remember, with sun protection, it's not just your sunscreen. You can wear your hat, you can seek shade, you can wear some protective clothing. So the sunscreen is sort of an additional way to protect our skin from the sun, but using common sense as well. Not going out in the sun when it's very hot, like during the summer, during the peak hours of the sun, 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. And just using our sort of, let's say, we say common sense, but sometimes common sense is not very common. But being wise about how we expose ourselves in the sun, it's important. So the SPF 30 and SPF 50, like we said, in terms of how much UV rays, how much of the UV rays are being blocked, it's only 1%. And if you're good at applying it, um, evenly and applying enough of it and reapplying it after 2 hours when you're in the hot sun, or you've been sweating, or you've been swimming, then you're just absolutely fine with the SPF 30. If you do think that you won't be applying it often, or you won't be applying it as even, then opt for SPF 50. And to explain here, this is a good time to explain what is UVA versus UVB. UVB is, as the name explains, the B is for burning. It penetrates the epidermis, the top layer of the skin. It causes DNA damage, and it has been linked to cancer, basal cell carcinoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and melanoma, even though melanoma is mostly being linked with UVA. But of course, UVB is necessary as well for vitamin D production. I love the sun. I'm from Cyprus. I was raised where there's lots of sunshine, lots of it throughout the year. So the sun is good for us. As long as we respect the sun and we know our own skin's limitations, the sun is amazing. So for somebody that is fair skinned, they don't need so much sun exposure to create the adequate vitamin D that they require. But for somebody who's more darker skin tone, let's say a black person, they already have a natural, something like an SPF 13 due to their own melanin. And therefore, they will need to spend more time in the sun in order to produce their vitamin D. And vitamin D is very, very important for our overall health. We need it for for our hair. We need it for our hormone production. We need it for our bones. So it is very important that we ensure that our vitamin D levels are adequate, and especially in the UK, that we don't see a lot of sun during the winter period, or even autumn, or even spring. Sadly, a lot of people of darker skin tone are very vitamin D deficient. So it's very important to then be supplementing during the winter months and during the summer months to get adequate sun exposure. What I do, because for me, the sun is very good for the rest of my body. I know because of my skin tone, I have a relative, let's say, medium to high natural protection to the sun. I'm not going crazy going out and tanning in the sun. And of course, in the UK, we don't really get that much strong sun. But what my goals, so it depends on your goals. My goals for me, for my skin, is to protect my face and neck from the sun because of the UVA, which is aging, as we show here. UVA rays are what is aging us. The UVA goes deeper into the skin. It causes hyperpigmentation. It can cause melasma and melanoma. So in my case, because I'm more olive skin and I'm more prone to hyperpigmentation, I always ensure I wear my sunscreen throughout the year anytime the UV index is above 2. And you can check the UV index by looking at your phone, your weather app, and it can tell you. This way, I ensure I protect my skin with our lovely sun lotions, the ones that we make here at Piotis Naturals, which are completely non-toxic, completely 100% mineral. And I feel safe to reapply them throughout the day without worrying about any safety concerns for my health or the environment. But I make sure I protect my skin so that I give my skin the best foot forward to age more gracefully, so that I protect it both from UVB as well as UVA. But for my body, I go out in the sun sensibly. So I'll wear a t-shirt and enjoy the sun so that I can create my natural vitamin D. I'm not one of those people. I wish I had included a photo from dermatologists out there in the wild when they go on vacation and they cover themselves with protective clothing, with blankets like for UV protection, with umbrellas, with face coverings and all sorts of that. I think that's a bit excessive. I mean, we do need the sun, and the sun as well. Another important topic that not many people talk about, for us to create vitamin D, we also need to see the sunlight. So if you're wearing sunshades, then your vitamin D production is not optimal. So you want to be able to also see the sunlight. Obviously, again, that how much of it you are going to be getting in terms of the sun rays, and how much you're going to be out in the sun without sunglasses, again, it depends on your eye color as well. So people with lighter eyes, they don't have that much protection against the sun rays, so they might not also need so much time in the sun. And similarly, usually people with blue eyes, usually that's not the rule, they usually also have more fair skin. So your exposure to the sun for your optimal vitamin D production depends on your eye color and your skin tone. And therefore, I don't have that information in terms of how much exposure to the sun you should have on a daily basis, and what hours of the day, and at what UV index for you to create the optimal vitamin D production for yourself. I might look into it, but this is something that you could look into, do your own research to see for your skin tone what exposure to the sun do you need to have, how many minutes, what time of the day, when the UV index is a certain amount, for you to know how much you need in order for you to get your optimal vitamin D. So the motto here, guys, is not to demonize the sun. The sun is amazing. It makes us feel amazing going out in the sun. You see people as well on the street behaving differently when the sun is out and it's a sunny, hot day. And like I said, as a person who was raised in Cyprus, a sunny, beautiful island, I do love the sun. And because of my personal skin goals, where I want to age as gracefully as possible, I want to avoid hyperpigmentation, I apply sunscreen on my face and neck, and the rest of my body. I expose myself sensibly out in the sun without, of course, exposing myself to burn or to have any tanning deliberately. So let's talk about some evidence about photoaging, of how the sun, especially the UVA, leads to photoaging. Here we have a picture of a 69-year-old truck driver who was driving for 28 years. And as you can see, his left side, which was closest to the window, has severe aging, whereas his right side is not as bad. So, guys, if you do not want your skin to age like this, be sure to be using sunscreen and to be reapplying it throughout the day, especially if you're out and about in the sun, especially if you're sweating, especially if you've been swimming, especially if you feel like you've been touching your skin too much and your sunscreen has been rubbing off. And another reason why we do say to be reapplying often throughout the day is because sometimes you might not apply adequate amount, so you might leave gaps on your skin. So if you do apply throughout the day, that means when you apply again, you will cover those gaps, and then when you apply again, you will cover other gaps. So I hope this image demonstrates clearly how the sun can lead to faster aging, breaking down the collagen. The sun is the number one reason for skin aging. So breaking down DNA, breaking down collagen, breaking down elastin, and making us look older. And of course, like we touched earlier, it's important to protect our skin from the sun so that it doesn't burn, because burning of our skin, and even in childhood, where even two burns on the skin, so 2 episodes of your skin being burned because of excessive sun exposure, can increase your risk to skin cancer significantly in adult life. So we have to be sensible with our sun exposure. Another example of how the sun leads to aging, and in this case, we see identical twins, where the one on the left was wearing sunscreen, and the other one to the right was not wearing sunscreen and was also smoking. So that's a co-founding factor as well. But in terms of her skin, you can clearly see the hyperpigmentation, the uneven skin tone, and that's because she was not protecting her skin from the sun. And one of the things that I say a lot of the times, what sort of makes us look older is uneven skin tone. So it's important to be protecting our skin, so that we prevent this kind of sun damage due to because when the skin is exposed to the sun, for people who are a bit more medium tone and above, and they have more active melanocytes, these are the cells in our skin that they are responsible for producing more melanin. They then get more active, and then they create those blotches on our skin, making us look older and not so youthful. And here, another very strong example. The neck says it all, where this lady, I think she was in her 90s, she was applying sunscreen on her face, but she was forgetting to put sunscreen on her neck. And you can see how much more wrinkled, how much more sort of the texture of the skin is a lot more rough. You can see the hyperpigmentation. You can also see some skin damage. I don't know if that's from the sun or from something else, but you can clearly see how the area of her face where she was applying sunscreen is more youthful. The skin is more smooth, is more plump. Whereas on the neck, where she wasn't applying sunscreen, her skin is a lot more old looking. Let's say old looking, yeah. So with a lot more skin damage, with the hyperpigmentation, the wrinkles, and the fine lines. Okay, so now that we established that it's important to use sunscreen if your goal is to slow down aging and, of course, to prevent skin cancer, I want to urge you, apart from recognizing those ingredients that we mentioned earlier, and there are other ones that I can mention again in another video or in a blog post. I want to urge you to be vigilant, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of greenwashing in the cosmetics industry. Cosmetic companies are capitalizing on the fact that the average person doesn't know how to read and, importantly, understand their sunscreen ingredients, their cosmetics ingredients, and they just believe whatever the product is telling them at the front, or whatever the company is marketing. One such example here of a clean brand, a clean brand deception, is Goop. Goop, founded by Gwyneth Paltrow, I said it, in 2018, settled a lawsuit because they had misleading health claims for their natural sunscreen that contained chemical UV filters, octinoxate, octocrylene, and synthetic fragrance. So we've explained earlier why those ingredients you want to be avoiding, because of being found to have endocrine disruption capabilities, affecting our hormones, that is, reproductive system, leading to neurotoxicity because it can cross the blood-brain barrier, and leading to allergies. And synthetic fragrance is a term that companies can use, and that can mask up to 3,000 harmful chemicals. Companies by law don't need to disclose exactly what that synthetic fragrance is, and so they can get away with using ingredients that they are bad for our health. They can be linked to allergies, again to toxicity, and these are not compounds that you want to be including in your daily personal care products. So they include things like phthalates, which again, they're hormone disruptors. So synthetic fragrance is another ingredient that you definitely need to be avoiding. But sometimes even products that they claim to be fragrance free, they still have some perfume or other ingredients that are harmful, again used to sort of make the odor of the product more beautiful, to mask the chemical smell of the other ingredients. So you need to really, really be careful and read the ingredients of your cosmetics. And you can look online, there's databases online that you can refer to. You can do you can even these days ask AI, to ask it if there is any research out there that is linked negatively with any of those ingredients. And you can go really far these days, by sort of looking at the ingredients, searching them online. There's even some apps, I haven't used them myself personally, but online I've seen posts of people using certain apps where they scan the barcode of the product, and it can tell them whether the ingredients are linked with any safety concerns data. And this is a way for you to go about and see whether there's any concern about those ingredients. So another clean beauty brand deception. This product I know about because a lot of our clients in Cyprus, they brought it to my attention. This is a brand that claims to have natural products, non-toxic, clean, organic, and this is their sunblock, their sunscreen, claiming that is natural, and has not got any nasties in it. But they got away from not using this commonly recognized ingredient octinoxate by using a different term from it. And remember, I shared with you that that slide where I included those 12 ingredients that you need to look out for in your sunscreens and avoid them. And in the parentheses, I put the other names that they come with. And so in this case, in this ingredient, we can see high up in the list the ingredient ethyl hexyl methoxycinnamate. It's one ingredient that often is used in sunscreens, and it's often labeled as natural, but it's not really. We have explained that it's a chemical UV filter that has endocrine disrupting capabilities and other health hazards for our health. So be very, very careful about those ingredients, to be reading them and making sure that when you read them, you understand whether they're synonyms or other, not synonyms, but other names for certain ingredients that are harmful. So companies can get away with naming products with a different name, and then consumers do not readily recognize them, and then they get deceived. They're being lied to in essence, to think that this product is completely clean and natural, but in essence, it's not. Another clean brand deception is Color Science, which is marketed as 100% mineral sunscreen, but instead it has SPF boosters and film forming agents. So because it doesn't have enough zinc oxide in the formula, and enough titanium dioxide, it doesn't have a high enough percentage, then they put certain ingredients that they boost the SPF, but in reality it doesn't really help. So SPF boosters that they include are butyl salicylate, BOS. As you can see, it's even hard to pronounce them. Sometimes, yes, that is a very sort of silly way to go about this and say if you cannot pronounce it, that means it's not good for you. That's not exactly the case. But sometimes if you do see some long ingredient lists in all of your cosmetics, in your sunscreens, then you really should be asking yourself, is this truly good for me? And in this case, with this SPF boosters, we have the other ones that I'm not going to even try to pronounce. They're still safety or and health concerns that they're emerging and understudied. So we don't know for sure if they're completely clean. So in this case, it is a concern because you're not 100% sure that that ingredient is safe for you. And a lot of companies that claim to be mineral, because zinc oxide, and especially non-nano zinc oxide, is white, it tends to agglomerate, it tends to form clumps in itself. It's very hard to work with, and it can also leave white cast. So a lot of companies do not use a lot of it in their formula, not us, but a lot of other companies do. They don't use a lot of zinc oxide in their formula because of these issues of how it's very hard to work with. It tends to agglomerate, it tends to clump in itself. And then instead, they use these SPF boosters in order to increase the SPF value of the product, but without it actually being completely clean, completely mineral, and unsure of whether it's completely safe. And another thing about the color science, they're using nano-sized zinc oxide. So it's not non-nano. So as we said, really, it's not really true physical sunblock because the zinc oxide penetrates through the skin, get absorbed in the bloodstream, can penetrate the blood-brain barrier and cause neurotoxicity. And again, the way it works, it would absorb the UV rays and then scatter them as heat. And why this is important to explain is that when the chemical UV filters, and in this case, nano-sized zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, when they absorb the UV rays and then they scatter them as heat, these can be bad for our skin, especially for people who have more active melanocytes. So for people who are more prone to hyperpigmentation, to melasma, these kind of chemical UV filters and nano-sized zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are releasing heat, and heat triggers melanocytes to become more active and therefore produce more melanin. And whereas you were thinking you were protecting your skin from the sun by using this type of UV chemical filters and nano-sized zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, instead of helping your skin from hyperpigmentation, from melasma, it's actually causing the contrary. That is why we are always proponents of using non-nano zinc oxide and non-nano titanium dioxide. So, in order to counteract the issues of white casting, because like we said, non-nano zinc oxide, it's a big molecule that sits on top of the skin, scatters the light. It can leave white cast for a person that's not completely very fair skinned. So the way to go about this is by creating formulas that contain pigments, again, that are non-nano, and they add color to the formula. And I'm going to show later, we have various colors here that we offer, different variations of tones in our range, and we are always expanding our range of available colors, even though sunscreen is not something that should have like thousands of skin tones. It's not the same as a foundation where you have loads and loads of skin tones, because you really need to ensure as well that you have high enough zinc oxide. So as long as it's formulated properly and it has high zinc oxide, then it's absolutely fine to use tinted versions. But we can't really have too many colors. With sunblock, we have certain amount of colors. In our case, I think we have 5 or 6 at the moment. And like I said, we're constantly innovating to add more colors in order to be able to cater for different skin tones. But with sunscreen, it's more about finding a skin tone, a tone that suits you and flatters you the most. But it's not going to always be your exact skin tone the same way that you have with makeup. And as a matter of fact, I'm wearing now our tinted sunblock. This is the skin tone that I'm wearing at the moment. It is a very, very flattering color to my skin tone. Can you guys see it all right? I'm just going to take a little bit for you guys. I don't know if you can see well. It's a lovely, lovely color that I've added in our collection that is very flattering to a lot of skin tones. Okay, so guys, let me know if you have any questions. My kombucha break, and we continue. Where have we left off? I hope you're enjoying the content and you are learning. As you can see, I tried my best to prepare as best as possible. I really feel passionate about the topic, not only because of my personal story, as I shared earlier, with losing my maternal grandmother to metastatic melanoma, but also because I see this sad situation happening in the cosmetics industry, where a lot of companies are creating products that they are not good for us. They have ingredients with dubious safety. They have ingredients that have been linked to harmful effects in our bodies for our health as well as the environment. And it really, really saddens me as well. On top of that, when we have companies that they are misleading the public, saying that they're clean, they're natural, the mineral, whereas instead they contain ingredients such as the UV chemical filters that we touched upon earlier, that we should be avoiding. So I really do feel passionate about the matter. I want people to use safe and effective sun protection, to be able to enjoy the sun safely without putting their skin at risk for UV damage, for aging, obviously, and also for skin cancer. So, I dedicate formulating, like I said, with zinc oxide is very, very, very difficult. And that's why a lot of companies choose to use those UV chemical filters, not only because they're easier to work, but also they are much cheaper. And so it's easier for these companies to have a higher markup, put those cheap UV chemical filters into their formula. The formula, it's easier to apply. They don't worry about white cast because they don't contain any mineral pigments in there. And so it's easier to just get them out in the market. People enjoy them because they're easier to apply. They don't worry about any sort of white cast or looking white or whatever. But for me, I couldn't accept that solution. It is not a clean solution. Our motto here is to use completely clean and non-toxic ingredients that they have not even a speck of doubt that they are unhealthy for us or harmful for the environment. And I've been working for years and years to constantly be innovating and improving our sunblock formulas so that they are uh, beautiful. They offer a beautiful result. People will want to wear them. People will want to wear them and reapply them and enjoy them, and to ensure that it has adequate protection. So how do we make things differently here at Piotis Naturals? With our sunscreens that we create, we have two different type of formulations. We have the ones that they're for normal skin type or for dry skin type. So they're thicker in texture because they have more of the butters and the oils, which are very, very soothing and nourishing for dry skin type and for normal skin type as well. And we have the ones that they are in lighter texture, the ones that they're good for acne prone and oily prone skin type. I myself have a oily prone and mixed combination skin type. And so I was looking for a sunblock that was truly non-toxic, truly clean, with non-nano zinc oxide, that wouldn't leave a white cast and it wouldn't break me out. And I couldn't find one. And thus I decided I need to make one for myself. And as a matter of fact, I tried the Color Science sunscreen for market research. I tried it because it's one of the most popular ones in the world of mineral sunscreen, even though we did explain that it's not truly a mineral sunscreen. But I tried it. And because of its ingredients, particularly dimethicone, I broke out. I've never had acne in my whole entire life, not even when I was a teenager. But when I used this product, the Color Science sunscreen, I was full of pimples here on my cheeks. And if you wish, I've never shared this photo before, but I can share this photo as evidence. This was the time when I was using the Color Science sunscreen. Because of this silicone dimethicone, it was clogging my pores, it was trapping dirt in, and it was leading to breakouts for me. Even though I was cleansing my skin perfectly well, but because I kept using this pore clogging ingredient, it was leading to acne for me. Whereas our formulations, and you will see later where I will share our amazing reviews that we got on our website, our formulations are completely non-comedogenic for those that we are catering for acne prone and combination prone skin. So I dedicated really a lot of time, months and months and years actually, in perfecting these formulations to ensure that they are high in zinc oxide. In our case, the zinc oxide that we use in our formulations, like I said, is non-nano. Of course, we wouldn't use anything else, and it's between 18 to 22%. So depending on the formula. So the one that we have here that is for our darker skin tone, where it's for people who are more melanin blessed. It has 18% zinc oxide, which is still very, very high compared to a lot of mineral sunscreens out there that only use 9%. So, because, like I said, people with who are black, who are more darker skin tone, have their own natural UV protection. Therefore, we can get away with using 18% zinc oxide in the overall formulation, which again is very, very high. So I ensure I put very high concentration of zinc oxide, non-nano, which is completely non-toxic. And the other benefit of zinc oxide is that is this I'll go again. The other benefit of zinc oxide is that it is broad spectrum. So it protects us both from UVA and UVB. So you know that you are covered both from the burning UV rays and also from the aging UV rays. And therefore, it's also reef safe, it's non toxic for our health and nature. And like I said, we offer the tinted versions. We have different tint types and the non-tinted types. And of course, all of our ingredients are hypoallergenic, free from synthetic fragrance, free from any ingredients that they lead to any skin irritation. I get a lot of clients coming to me telling me how they're using conventional chemical sunscreens and their eyes are burning. If the sunscreen goes in their eyes, or it itches their skin, and that's because a lot of those ingredients are increasing your sun sensitivity, which is you want to use a sunscreen that protects you from the sun, not something that increases your irritates your skin when you're exposed in the sun. So our ingredients as well are nourishing even to the most delicate skin, even in newborns. So you can use it on your babies as soon as they're born. They're absolutely safe. They're made with organic butters, cocoa butter, jojoba oil. These are ingredients that I'm putting in, and I'm going to demonstrate here, guys, that they have skincare function. Any ingredients that I use in my formulations, I don't just put them in as fillers, as like a lot of the companies out there, you'll read the first ingredient is aqua, it's water, a fancy way of saying water. Then you'll see a lot of like cheap ingredients. Okay, you'll see things like glycerin is absolutely fantastic. It adds moisture to your skin, but you can't really put it no more than 4% in your formulation. So then when you read other ingredients below that, you'll know that they are under 4%. Then you'll read things like thickeners, things like xanthan gum, and then your preservatives, which you don't normally put more than 1% in the formula, maybe 0.5%. And then under that, they'll use some of the fancy skincare ingredients that they claim they're good for you. But in reality, they're really, really low in the formula. Whereas in our formulas, they offer skin nourishment as well. That's why, for example, here, I will open now and make myself bigger in the screen so you can see the detail of the product. Okay. Do you see the product is thick? This is for our oily, the product is thick. This is for our normal type to dry type. And look how amazing it spreads so lively, and it hydrates the skin at the same time. So with the shea butter that it contains, with the cocoa butter, it offers vitamins and minerals to the skin. It protects the skin barrier. On top of that, zinc oxide, it's the ingredient that they use in diaper rash cream, right? It's great for skin healing. We use it as well in our formulations for our weeping eczema. We use zinc oxide in it because it's amazing for promoting healing of the skin. So the zinc oxide, not only does it protect you from the UV rays, but it also nourishes and protects your skin and your collagen. So you stay more youthful by using truly non-nano zinc oxide mineral sunscreens. This is the untinted version. Obviously, for me, as a olive skin tone, medium skin tone person, it looks quite white. But we have a lot of fair-skinned clients who enjoy this skin tone and they love it, and it blends just fantastic in their skin. Don't be alarmed that on my skin it looks very white. Obviously, for me, the tinted versions would be the ones that I would go with, and it's the one that I'm wearing at the moment. So, as I demonstrated, the product has skin loving, nourishing properties. It's not just there, the other ingredients that is in the formula, that they're not zinc oxide, they're not just there to sort of suspend zinc oxide in the formulation. They have a purpose to nourish your skin as well. And this way, when people are wearing them, we get a lot of feedback from people, especially for our tinted sunscreens, from a lot of ladies who are using them, that they stop using their foundation and instead they're using our tinted mineral sunscreens because it offers them great coverage, it evens out their skin tone, and of course, it offers them the perfect broad spectrum, high SPF protection. So it's a perfect way to ditch that toxic foundation and makeup, and just use our tinted mineral sunscreen that can help your skin glow and offer your skin nutrients as well, skin loving ingredients that is going to hydrate it and is going to add vitamins and minerals and help strengthen the skin barrier and make your skin glow and be healthier overall. Now we have the formulation as well. So what we just touched upon earlier, like I said, the zinc oxide stays on the surface, is not absorbed into your bloodstream. It doesn't have any hormone-disrupting SPF booster, so no butyloctyl salicylate, no BOS, that is, no silicones, no parabens, no fragrance, no pegs. It is reef safe, baby safe, sensitive skin safe, and we get that a lot. We get that a lot of people buying our product and they say it is the only sunblock that didn't cause their skin to be irritated. And you'll see some of our reviews later on, that you'll see how truly great product it is. I'm really, really passionate and, let's say, proud. I don't want to be saying I'm proud of other things. I just feel like what I'm doing, I'm using my background in science with my PhD, and my background in studying medicine, understanding human physiology, and my experience in formulating truly clean and non-toxic products. And I'm using all of that knowledge to bring to you, in my opinion, the most potent and cleanest and nourishing sunblock out there, that I've searched out there for myself to find one that is truly clean with no nano zinc oxide, that it offers also skin hydration. It's skincare, it's not just sun protection. And I've put a lot of effort, a lot of iteration of the formula to come up to this formula that we're offering right now, that I'm truly happy with and proud of, and really, really excited to be sharing with you, because I truly feel that it's a great solution for your skin, for your loved ones, for your kids, for yourself, to protect yourself from the skin, have an even skin tone, protect from skin aging. And remember, you want to be applying something on your skin multiple times a day without worrying that it can cause any harm to you, to your health, to your endocrine system, to your neurological system, and have no concern for any sort of toxicity, and to know that it's also safe for the environment. So you are good to keep reapplying this product without feeling any concern. I mean, and for mothers with young kids, like, from the evidence that we have at the moment, it is really concerning. And I know you care about your children, you want to protect them from the sun. And therefore, I do urge you to switch to truly non-toxic, non-nano zinc oxide sunblock, to really read the ingredients and understand that it doesn't have any of those synthetic UV filters. Even if the packaging says it's clean and natural, do not believe it. Read the ingredients in your cosmetics. If you have any questions, go online, you can search. There's apps, like we said, and sometimes you can come to me and you can ask me, and I can tell you if they're okay or not. But in general, if you do choose to try our products, you will love them, and you will know, you will have a peace of your mind that there is nothing unsafe in there. All of the ingredients in my formulations, I check them with various databases. I read research papers to ensure that they're completely clean and completely non-toxic, because I wouldn't feel good within myself. I wouldn't be able to go to sleep at night knowing that I am including ingredients that they have even a drop of doubt of whether they're safe or not. Because, like I said to you guys, losing my grandma to cancer, knowing that we are exposed to carcinogens on a daily basis from pollution, from all the other harmful chemicals in our daily life, from our food that unfortunately is not the same as it used to be before. My main motivation is to bring to you truly clean products that do not add to the toxic load that we are already exposed to in our daily lives, that is affecting our health negatively, that is affecting our reproductive system negatively, our endocrine system negatively, and can lead to cancer. So you can trust that our products are truly clean and truly non-toxic. You can read the ingredients, of course, and our reviews, and be assured that these products are going to protect you from the UV rays and also protect your skin, offer skin benefits, as well as be sure that it's not going to cause any harm to your health or the environment. And like I said, this is ideal for the formulation for the dry and normal skin type. It's ideal for normal, dry, sensitive, eczema prone, and rosacea prone skin. Anyone who is seeking truly clean sun protection without greenwashing, this sunblock is the ideal sunblock for you. People who care both for their health and the environment, this is the sunblock for you. And now, continuing with our acne prone formulation, where we have the formula that is non-comedogenic. So I've shown you the formula that is thicker for the dry prone skin and the normal skin, and we have now the formula for the acne prone or the oily prone skin. And I can show you here on the big screen here. You can see the difference, how much more fluid it is and more lightweight, because it doesn't have cocoa butter that is thicker in texture, and it can be comedogenic. When we say comedogenic, it means that it can lead to breakouts, it can lead to wrinkles. It doesn't have any pore clogging ingredients, so I ensure that whatever ingredients I put in are completely not gonna break you out. You will know that it's not gonna cause you any acne, and this is the feedback that we're getting from the hundreds of people who've been trying our product, saying, finally, here is a product that doesn't break me out. Because I wanted to find a product for myself that did not include any of those silicones like the methicone that can break people out. And I was looking for one that would be completely clean, completely non-toxic, with non-nano zinc oxide, tinted version as well, so I don't look like a vampire, and that it wouldn't contain any ingredients that would break me out. And I created this formula after a lot of experimentation, a lot of iteration, and constant improvement and constant feedback. And I'm truly happy to say that it's a great formula. It doesn't leave any white cast. Like I said, I used it for my skin right now. It's non-greasy, and we offer, I forgot to say earlier, we offer unscented versions. When we use scents in our products, they're only with pure natural essential oils, which are completely clean and non-toxic. And not only do they offer great aromatherapy benefits, they're also very beautiful to smell, as well as they're great for our skin. But there are people who are extra sensitive and they just prefer to avoid essential oils altogether, and so we have essential oils free formulas. And actually, for sunblocks, because we are renewing them throughout the day several times, I think that it's better to use an unscented version. Yes, essential oils are safe, but because you'll be reapplying them throughout the day, sometimes it's better to go without essential oils. I don't mind. My skin is very used to essential oils, but if you have any concern, you can always choose our unscented versions, and you will know that you will have no issues with it. On my hand, you see this color that I'm using on my face. And because I have the light right against me, it looks much whiter. But in the real life, it's not like that. And you should always know that our hands, unless we're wearing gloves throughout the day or when we're driving, they look darker than the rest of our face, for example, if you're using sun protection. Because I use sun protection, my face is lighter than my hands. But again, because I'm bringing it close to the camera, that I have my ring light here, it's looking a lot whiter than it actually is. And I want to show you as well the rest of the colors that we carry. That I said we have various ones. We have, like I said, the untinted one, completely white. That's great for the body. I would wear an untinted one for the body. I don't really mind if my hands or my legs would look white. White. I don't really care. But for my face, I want to use a tinted version. And again, for my skin tone in the UK and the, let's say, normal, usual sun of the UK, I don't really need to use sunblock for my body. My own skin tone is quite good in protecting me. But if I am in really, really hot weather, let's say if I was to go to Cyprus to visit my family and I wanted to go out in the sun in the middle of the day, which is not really recommended, then I would use this sunblock, but I would use the white one because, like I said, I don't really care for it to be tinted for my body. But for my face, I would use this one that is tinted over here with this lovely, lovely color. And I'm just going to say right now again, like I said, we started with the untinted version that doesn't have any mineral pigments to add color. It's great for babies, even babies that are darker skin tone. So for my kids, then they're not completely white. They're not like Scandinavian white. I use the white sunblock for them, for their body. It's not an issue at all. Now that they're getting older, then they're a bit more appearance conscious. I do give them the tinted versions, but under normal circumstances, when they were kids, do you think a baby is going to say, no, mommy, I look too white with this sunblock? It doesn't really matter. So you can choose for the body or for your babies, for whatever the skin tone they are, you can choose the untinted version. Then we have this sort of faint skin tone here. Let me find it if I have it here. These are the samples, by the way, that I carry with me when we go to markets, and I demonstrate to people on the spot the different skin tones that we offer. So this is the faint one. It's got a little bit more pigment than the white one. I'm going to bring them in comparison. And sometimes these, they feel a bit drier than normal. Normally they don't feel so thick, but because, like I said, these are the ones that I carry with me when we go to our farmers markets, when we go to our different fairs and exhibitions. I keep these products open so they get dried. Normally they're a lot more moisturizing, so there isn't much difference. So that's like fair tinted for anybody who, let's say, they're Caucasian, they have more lighter skin tone, but they are still wanting something that is tinted. So it gives them that little bit of more sort of color to their skin. Then we have the sort of medium skin tone, which is the one that I've been showing earlier, the one that I'm also using myself. And again, with the camera, it doesn't really show very well because of how I have my camera and it's from far, and also because of how I have the ring light here. But you can always get in touch with me if you would like to try our products and tell me, describe to me what's your skin tone. And a lot of the times, a lot of our clients send me photos of either their hand or their neck or half of their face for me to sort of advise them which one of our skin tones that we have available in our range currently would suit them the best. And some of our reviews, you will read that I'm sort of made them the product or send them the product that would suit them the best just from a photo, because I make these products. I don't have other chemists making the products. I know the ins and outs of the formulas and how they will show in different skin tones. And like I said earlier, we don't expect exact skin tone match, but rather a skin color that suits us and flatters us the most. But of course, because I make products from scratch, I do also offer bespoke formulation services for somebody if they wanted a sunblock that was their exact skin tone. You can get in touch with me and I can offer that for you. But because it will be a bespoke formulation, that would come with a more premium price, obviously, because I would have to create a formula just for you and make a product just for you from scratch so that it would suit you. Uh, Following from the mid skin tone, like we mentioned earlier, We have another type that is more yellow base. So that one was more cool medium, okay, without any yellow color showing too much. And then you see here in comparison, you can tell that I am not yet a skincare influencer online, guys. I'm so new in this stuff, but I've been advised that I need to show and demonstrate the products more on camera, so that you guys, because of course it's online, you don't get to try always the products like our clients who we meet in markets and exhibitions. So I'm trying my best to show to you from the screen the products so that you can best appreciate them and sort of have an idea of how they are. So you see this one that has a more let's say yellow base in it. So because some people do like this skin tone color, so we do offer it as well, and that would be the medium color as well. I might put names on them instead of classifying them as faint, or medium dark. And then we also have another one that is a medium dark that I might not have it here at the moment. I do apologize. And we also have the much darker skin tone here, which is a beautiful color that we've made and added in our collection, because we've have had people of color, of more melanin blessed people, who are seeking clean sunblocks that are non-toxic and they suit their skin tone. Because if a black person would use this one, it will leave a white cast on them, because again, this is with non-nano zinc oxide, so it would sit on the skin and reflect the UV rays. So therefore, we've done this formula with um, with the darker skin tone in mind. Because I have some sunblock here, I'm going to apply it on my forearm so you can see, guys. And this formula is for oily skin type. So it is so lightweight. It's not completely fluid because it needs to have a bit of structure to be able to hold the zinc oxide in the formula evenly dispersed. And that's going to help me explain to you in a little bit why you should not DIY your sunscreen. Okay, why it's very dangerous to DIY your sunscreen at home when you don't have the right equipment and the right machinery for it. But you can see here a lovely skin tone color that we've done for people of color, for people with darker skin tone, and they love it. And I'm so pleased that people of color, more melanin blessed people, are choosing mineral sunblocks, and they've reached out to us to try and use our no zinc oxide and no nano pigments mineral sunscreens, because in a lot of the times people of color find it hard to use mineral sunscreens because of that white cast. But this is why we're here at Piotis Naturals. We trying to be as inclusive as possible, and that's why we created these darker skin tone formulations to suit people of color as well. So I want to speak now, guys, of we'll show our reviews. But before we show our reviews, I want to say why it's very important not to DIY your sunscreen at home. I've seen a lot of TikToks, Instagram posts, YouTube posts out there that show you how to DIY your own sunscreen, and I understand the sentiment from hearing the recent science and the publicity around how certain chemical UV filters, certain chemical UV filters are unsafe for us, and they have safety data concerns, and they can be harmful to us. How a lot of people have been alarmed by that factor, and they are seeking to find solutions that they feel are safe for them and for their family. And I understand the sentiment, and they come from good intentions. However, to work with the zinc oxide, as we have said earlier, zinc oxide tends to agglomerate, so it tends to clump. Non-nano zinc oxide, it's very hard to work with. That's why a lot of companies don't bother using it. But we are different, as we said, that we choose the hard way to do things that, I mean, we choose the difficult road because we know that this is the cleanest and safest. And it doesn't matter if it's harder to work with, it doesn't matter if it's more expensive to work with, we still choose this way. Now, because zinc oxide, to have proper SPF protection, it needs to be evenly dispersed in the formula. To achieve that, you have to disperse it in certain emollients, which is what we are using as well. And I'm also using an industrial scale high shear mixer, high shear emulsifying mixer, which what it does, I pre-disperse the zinc oxide into these emollients that allow the zinc oxide to stay suspended evenly in the formula and not agglomerate and not form uneven clumps in the formula, that when you was to be applying your homemade DIY zinc oxide, you would leave areas whereby you wouldn't have any protection, because you cannot fully disperse zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, and especially non-nano uncoated forms. You cannot evenly disperse them in a formula with your DIY kit that you have at home, with your hand mixer or you or whatever else you're using at home. So that is why it's very, very dangerous to be DIYing your sunscreen at home. Not only you probably are not using high amount of zinc oxide. I mean, I've seen some DIY recipes for sunscreen out there that they use 1 tablespoon of zinc oxide in a big batch. And that is concerning because it means you're not using high enough zinc oxide and you will not have high SPF for your formula, and that will not be adequately protecting you. And the factor that we said, whereby it is not evenly dispersed in your formula, it will sink into your formula. It will like a sediment, and therefore when you will be applying it, you won't be getting the adequate zinc oxide per application to offer your adequate SPF that you require for UVA and UVB. That is why it's very important not to try to DIY it. Not only that, you also worry about contamination, introducing bacteria, and all that. So leave that work to the people who are dedicated in doing that, such as Piotis Naturals, such as myself, whereby I dedicate my career, let's say, or my mission is to create for you truly clean skincare and hair care and sunscreens. I must say it is my forte. It is my great interest because of my personal story, as we mentioned earlier, but also because I truly know that there is a need for people to use sunscreen that is truly clean for them and non-toxic and effective. So I want to reach out now and share with you some of our glorious reviews that we received in our sunscreens. And you can read them as well on our website. You can read them on our Etsy shop as well. And we have people who come at our markets and they come and get more and they love them. I don't know how well you can read them. I'm going to expand myself the page so I can read them. Katie said for our sunscreen, she chose the untinted one. Effective natural sunscreen, just what I was looking for. Excellent customer care and communication. Have recommended to others, and she did, and she ordered again. To order again. So I've been using the product for a couple of months. So Chiara, great natural sunscreen. I've been using the product for a couple of months, and I absolutely love it. I opted for the non-tinted version. She's also fair-skinned, and I love the texture, and it feels amazing on my sensitive skin. We also did the unscented version for her. It's been great to finally found a sunscreen that only contains natural ingredients to block the sun rays and thus can be used throughout the year without worrying. Definitely recommend. Umi said the best, love it, very smooth and feels delicate for our skin. All of these are for our formulations for normal and dry skin type. Obviously, I want to clarify in our formula, we also use some synthetic chemicals, such as the preservatives that we use, but some of them are also Cosmos certified and are also completely non-toxic and clean, and we use it at the correct percentages. So please do not be alarmed if you read any of the ingredients in our formulations and you are unsure what they are. I can assure you that any of the synthetic chemicals that we need to include, such as the preservatives that we need to include so that you're not slathering mold on your skin and the product doesn't go off, are completely safe and completely clean. Otherwise, I wouldn't make them. Otherwise, I wouldn't use them, and I wouldn't use them on my family either. The next one that we have here, Cory Wong. Finally, a sunscreen that won't give me breakouts. The little pot of summer joy has allowed me to run out in the sun without worrying that the next day I'll have clogged pores. And this happens a lot for people with acne prone skin. Even just a few applications, just a few days of using a product, they end up breaking out. So we all know that we should be applying SPF regardless of the season when the UV is 2 and above. So I'm thrilled that I have an all natural sun cream, meaning that I'm not applying anything nasty to my face. You only need a tiny amount, but once you warm it up in your fingers, she also had our other product that is for acne prone, but still it's not as fluid as you would get with some of the sunscreens in the market, which use chemical UV filters because they have smaller molecules. They don't need to be warmed up between your fingers. Our acne prone formula as well is not completely fluid, like I said. So if you wish, you do want to warm it up within your fingers, you can, or you can put it straight on your face. The reason why it's always good to first play with the product within your fingers, you warm it up, and you also know that you're applying adequate amount, because if you apply it straight on your face, you don't really know how much you apply. And that reminds me to say the amount that you need to be applying. General rule for chemical sunscreens, they say you need to put a quarter teaspoon for face and neck and ears. For the mineral sunblocks, there isn't much guidance out there, but to be on the safe side, try to use 1/8 of a teaspoon to 1/4 of a teaspoon. Ensure you put enough that you see the product. Not like if you still see your skin showing through, especially with a mineral sunscreen product, that means you haven't applied enough. You need to not be able to see your skin through. I'm not saying to slather tons and tons of layers, but to know that you applied enough, and you will see 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon. It's a good enough application for your face and neck. I don't apply for my ears. I have my hairs that protects me, but dermatologists who work with patients who are diagnosed with skin cancer, they do say that it's important to also apply behind your ears where the sun will be hitting you. And a lot of the times people forget to apply sunscreen behind their ears. And it's a location where people tend to also have skin cancers. If we continue, I bought the non-tinted versions, and I will admit, if you don't wrap it in well, you may look rather pale. This lady is sort of pale Asian, so for her, I would have advised our faint tinted version. That's why it's always better to get in touch, and I can advise you what would be your perfect skin tone that would suit you the best. But other than that, the sunscreen has integrated itself into our daily skincare routine, and so far, no sunburns. And we have clients who use that products as well in Cyprus, which is a very hot weather, and they have had no issues. They've been seeing amazing results, as well as clients who have been have issues with hyperpigmentation, melasma, and with our not only our treatments for lightening their skin tone with our serums, which we can touch upon another time, with our sunblocks, because they are tinted. It's very, very good for melasma and hyperpigmentation, especially for melasma and hyperpigmentation. Tinted mineral sunblock is what dermatologists are also recommending. That is going to offer you the best protection to help even out your skin tone. And like I said, these products are loved by people as well in very hot countries, and they have been protecting them. They not have had any skin damage or burns. Margarita here, I've been very satisfied in this product. It doesn't feel toxic like other tinted sunblocks I used. It matched closely my skin tones. Thanks for your help. I don't know, guys, if you are sort of benefiting from me reading them, or you can read them by yourself here. But just for the sake of presenting here, and I'll just remove here. I'll just go quickly through the one here that we have people who bought it and their darker skin tone. If you're looking for a vegan SPF for darker skin tones, that would highly suggest purchasing this product. So the sun cream has been the best one I've used so far. And remember to apply small amounts into your fingers before layering it on. Exactly what we mentioned earlier. You take a small amount, you apply, and then again until you have your full coverage, and ensure that you've put enough. And you can do this little bit. You can go and get yourself those measuring teaspoons that they say, if it's 1/8 or 1/4, you can see how much it would be, and you have it as a mental reminder to know how much you need to be applying. But again, I'm not entirely sure if that is the recommendation for physical sunblocks as well, to use a 1/4 teaspoon. But just to be on the safe side, it's good to use that amount. And if you apply it gradually in sections, you will see that it will blend really, really nicely in your skin. And if you get the right skin tone for you, it will be an amazing addition to your skincare routine to protect you from the skin, as well as give you a very nice finish. We have a lot of people, men included, that they use it, and they love the product, like Demilade over here, that use this product, and he's a guy, and it's so encouraging to see men as well to be using sunblock, and men of color as well to be using tinted mineral non-nano zinc oxide and non-nano mineral pigments to protect their skin. What else we have here? Yes, more 5-star reviews. You can read them as well, guys, on our website. We have tons and tons of them. And I'm sure if you try the product, you get in touch with me beforehand. If you have any concerns, if you want to clarify anything about the ingredients, if you have any allergies, you can get in touch, and I can tell you if there's any concern about that. And I can advise you whether the product is suitable for you or not. And you can read these reviews, like I said, on our website, and see for yourself the results that it can offer you. So I believe we reached to conclusion for our today's live stream. Thank you to those of you who joined live. Thank you as well for your patience with the technical issues that we have encountered. Thank you for helping me navigate through them, and for your patience until I was getting back on with the audio issues and the visual issues. I will ensure that this doesn't happen again next time that we have our this was episode 3 of our Clean Beauty series with me, Dr. Evanthia Samota. It's been a pleasure to be presenting to you this very important topic about sun protection and which ingredients to be avoiding in our cosmetics, because they are harmful for our health and the environment. Stay tuned for when I will release that blog post, where I will include all the scientific information that I referred to here, that I had to think about really well whether to include it and whether to go deeper with the scientific evidence. But I've been advised not to really go that deep into the science and the scientific jargon, so that I don't overwhelm you guys. But for any of you who want to read the science, I will release that all in a blog, and you can get notified for when I release that blog when you join our VIP community, the Piotis Naturals VIP Club, where it's a community of like-minded natural beauty devotees who love truly clean and natural skincare and hair care, and enjoy using products that they are completely non-toxic, safe for us and the environment. So the way that you can join our Piotis Naturals VIP email list, you can go on our website, and under Explore, it says VIP Tribe. You put your best email there, and you subscribe to our email list, where I share about 3 to 4 emails per month with exclusive natural skincare and hair care tips. And you get notified when we go live, and you get notified for when I will release various blog posts that are helpful for your natural skincare and hair care journey. Thank you again for those of you who joined us live. For those of you who will watch on the replay, please write replay, and any questions you may have after watching this, do comment below and I will address them. Thank you again, and wishing you a good rest of your evening or your day, wherever you are watching from. Bye for now. Make sure to follow and subscribe as well, so that you see as well the other content that I will be sharing. I'm hoping to become more active on YouTube as well, and share not only these live streams, but also videos that they will be helpful and a bit more concise and not so extensive like what we have done with our live stream. In any case, thank you truly, guys. Keep shining, and speak to you guys soon. Bye for now.